Jeremy Cuevas is a youth organizer at the Northwest Side Housing Center in Chicago's Belmont-Cragen neighborhood. He's also a resident of the area and spends most of his time in a 2-mile radius. Over the summer, he tried a new way of getting around town, often taking electric scooters.
Just getting from meeting to meeting, going on my personal time to whatever I had to do, because they're very convenient. They're very convenient and they're fun. They're fun to ride.
Cuevas and thousands of others tried this new mode of transit during Chicago's e-scooter pilot program. The 4-month test run opened the door to shareable electric scooters in the city. This was part of an effort to help increase accessibility to transportation in Chicago, particularly for communities considered transit deserts, where transit demand exceeds what is available. Cuevas feels Belmont-Cragen is a transit desert. He says the Diversey bus line is a main artery for many in his community, but claims the bus line has problems.
It's not on time. It bunches.
Some feel the scooters offer a possible transportation improvement. The pilot program was confined to a 50-mile radius on Chicago's west side and included 2 priority areas, one north of Chicago Avenue and west of Pulaski Road, and one south of Chicago Avenue and west of Kedzie. The priority areas focused on communities with less access to reliable transportation. The city required companies to place at least 25% of their scooters each morning in both of these areas.
And that was really about equity and wanting to make sure that scooters are most available in the communities that need them the most.
Similar to rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft, users could access the scooters through an app on their phones. When the pilot began in June, about 2,500 e-scooters from 10 different companies hit Chicago's streets.
One day there was no scooters, and then one day they're just like everywhere. So there was a lot of questions people had. I literally saw groups of people surrounding these scooters and like are in awe of them. Like, what are these things? Do you got to pay for them? Do you keep one? Do you ride it? Like, what is it?
However, once residents learned about the program, some quickly adapted it into their transportation routine. During the pilot program, riders took nearly 800,000 trips. A survey by the Active Transportation Alliance found that 2/3 of respondents want to keep scooters long-term, and if they had ridden a scooter, that number went up to 91%. The scooters, which could be picked up and dropped off at any location within the pilot area, allowed riders flexibility. They didn't have to return the scooters to a docking station like riders for bike share programs must do. Candace Z, CEO of VioRide, a Chicago-based e-scooter company, says most of their trips were taken as the first and last part of their riders' commutes, with train or bus rides in between. Z sees a definite niche for electric scooters.
Our goal is to help to fill the gaps for the transportation.
So while scooters helped residents like Cuevas get around town, they also let others get to their bus stop or train station quicker during their daily commute. Joseph Schriederman, the director of DePaul's Chaddock Institute for Metropolitan Development, studied e-scooter use during the program. He found that younger people were much more likely to use the program.
It's heavily connected to younger millennials, particularly upperly mobile millennials that try out new things very quickly.
Cuevas, who works with youth, said he saw a lot of young people benefit from the program.
But there were students that would ride them to the park. That would drop them off there, and then hopefully nobody took it and they would go somewhere else.
However, not everyone responded positively to the program. Without set docking stations, sidewalks were often cluttered with scooters, especially in neighborhoods like this one in Wicker Park, where many of them migrated.
The public reacts pretty strongly when these things are laying around in trees and blocking sidewalks.
Safety is also a concern for the scooters. Most riders didn't wear helmets during the program, and while final injury data isn't available yet, a handful of emergency room visits were reported. Z said VioRide is working on developing ways to improve safety.
We are pretty eager to work with different community groups and also the city to work on different product feasibility and also feature possibilities.
Chicago isn't the first city to test an e-scooter program. Other cities like Los Angeles, Portland, and San Francisco have also implemented similar programs. In fact, Washington, D.C.'s scooter program is expanding, and more than 10,000 scooters could hit its streets next year. Chicago's pilot program ended last month, and final data hasn't been released yet, so it's unclear if e-scooters will come back here. If they do, Active Transportation Alliance spokesperson Kyle Whitehead hopes the city will expand the zone for scooters to the south and north sides.
It's about getting the maximum amount of scooter trips that are having a positive impact on the community. And there's really no more positive impact that they could be having than in a part of the city that lacks access to rapid transit and improving mobility for residents there.
Cuevas would like to see the scooter program come back to Chicago, as long as the scooter companies make what he calls more of an effort to educate residents on the scooters and how to use them safely. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Marissa Nelson.